The American dream is the belief that one can attain status, wealth, and prosperity with hard work, regardless of race, class, or gender. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and Adam McKay's The Big Short expose the fallacy and moral corruptibility, albeit from different time periods, of the American dream, divulging its inherently complex and multifaceted nature. The Great Gatsby's disregard for morality in the pursuit of wealth and notoriety in the midst of the Roaring Twenties ultimately leads to the demise of individuals. Similarly, The Big Short exposes seemingly unfathomable levels of deception, financial manipulation, and greed acted by those incompetent brokers and banks during the 2008 global financial crisis, culminating in a level of corruption both morally and economically, evidently proposing how people become blind to morals once a prospect of success is on the table. The Great Gatsby's fixation on notoriety, status, and image is exposed for its intrinsic hollowness through the intricate nature of old money as opposed to new money, accentuated by the contrast between Gatsby's newly made money as opposed to Tom Buchanan's inherited wealth. F. Scott Fitzgerald highlights the limitations of both classes. The split between the newly made money of the West Egg divergent to the inherited wealth of the East Egg ultimately displays the unattainability of the American dream, as the old money will be perpetually dismissive of new money. Seen through irony and Tom's patronizing attitude at Gatsby's party, where he states, I suppose the latest thing is to let Mr. Nobody from nowhere make love to your wife. Tom displays his contempt for Gatsby's newly accumulated wealth through dubious means, and how Gatsby simply lacks the social pedigree of families from old money, which also highlights the irony and hypocrisy of Tom for his endeavors in extramarital affairs. The multifaceted nature of the American dream and the individual's motives in order to attain the dream can be tainted by the measures in which one has to take. This is evident through Gatsby and his pursuit of romantic aspirations with Daisy, not as a result of his love for her, but rather his infatuation with the idea of being with her, for status, notoriety, and wealth, all of which encompass each other. Through the use of hyperbole in Chapter 5, in which Nick states he wanted nothing less of Daisy than that she should go to Tom and say, I never loved you. It conveys Gatsby's blindness to reality and how he is merely concerned with his ideals of the American dream, ironically at the expense of Daisy. He merely expects Daisy to commit herself entirely to him at the expense of forsaking her marriage and all the social ramifications that surround it. This pursuit of a seemingly innocent and pure concept is ultimately derailed by the moral corruptibility which plagues Gatsby throughout the entire novel, including criminal activity in the form of bootlegging. Fitzgerald displays Gatsby's corrupted morality in Chapter 9 when Tom says he ran over Myrtle like you'd run over a dog. The use of simile reveals Gatsby's narrow-minded and callous actions in pursuit of his own desires within the American dream that have led him to shed any moral compass, resulting in tragic ramifications for those around him. The Big Short, portrayed through a cautionary tale that emphasizes the pursuit of the American dream in the midst of the 2008 global financial crisis, highlights the irony and greed of institutions pursuing the American dream at the cost of the American public, completed through their involvement in high-risk financial instruments in an attempt for self-gain, such as CDOs and credit default swap. A facet in which the American dream is displayed is through Charlie and Jamie's hard work, in which they exploit the opportunity that is available at the expense of others. This can be seen through, if we're right, people lose their homes. Here's a number, every 1% unemployment goes up, 40,000 people die. In which Ben Rickett explains to Jamie and Charlie that whilst they have their American dream, through non-diegetic sound and a medium-depth shot, it coincides with an element of greed to the detriment of innocent people. In the lead-up to the GFC, mortgage brokers and Wall Street banks deceived people into buying mortgages, presenting them as safe whilst obscuring the deeply entrenched risk of these mortgages. The dancer scene at Vegas, in which Mark Baum informs a dancer that people aren't going to be able to refinance their homes, to which the dancer says, well, James says I can always refinance. I have 5 houses and a condo. An exemplary portrayal of pure greed at the hands of these mortgage brokers, in this case, James, deceiving innocent people with unethical business practices. Mark replies with, you're not going to be able to refinance, to which cuts to a close-up shot of the dancer's face with the realization that she has been plundered by market manipulation, deception, and greed. The Florida scene, where the apparent housing bubble and collapse of subprime mortgage crisis is poignant in the display of the collateral damage in which innocent people faced during the GFC. Scene through the tenant responding to the two bankers with, "My landlord hasn't been paying the mortgage? I've been paying my rent." The dramatic irony isolates the sheer incompetence of rich mortgage brokers and their greed in dealing subprime packages. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and Adam McKay's The Big Short both display the methods in which individuals use to attain the American dream, often at the expense of not only their morality but others. It is apparent that they are disconnected from the realities of the real world, only leading to collateral damage on others, whether it's the death of Myrtle in The Great Gatsby, or whether it's the demolition of the economy in The Big Short. It's apparent that individuals are disconnected from the realities of the real world, only enforcing the perpetual cycle of hedonism in the pursuit of the American dream. Thank you.